Live picture here of the Air China jet. It's just arrived at the tarmac there at Heathrow Airport. A delegation on hand there in the UK to greet President Xi Jinping and Madam Peng Liyuan as they emerge from this jet. This is an important state visit to President Xi Jinping, accepting an invitation from Her Majesty the Queen to pay a state visit to the United Kingdom. That will last from the 20th to the 23rd. You see the people making their way up to the door. We expect President Xi Jinping to emerge any moment now. It's going to be a very important visit. It's going to help to cement the bilateral ties between China and the UK, which have flourished of late. In fact, the Chinese president speaking to Reuters, doing an interview prior to the arrival, talking about how this is a Western country that's really opening its doors to China, and that is expected to be the outcome of this state visit. Chinese President Xi Jinping will be in the UK for 5 days. Let's get more details about what's on the agenda. Our correspondent Jack Barton will join us live now from London with more. Jack, the door should open in about 30 seconds, so we'll probably be going back and forth between you and the picture of the President of China emerging. But give us a lowdown there in the UK. How is this trip being viewed by folks there on the street?
This is a very interesting trip because we're going to see President Xi arriving this evening. This evening will be fairly low-key. And when I say low-key, there is already a huge security effort around Buckingham Palace. We've been hearing sirens going backwards and forwards. I was down there before. Delegations were already arriving, so it's a huge affair. But compared to the pomp and ceremony we're going to see over the next few days, it is really low-key because tomorrow he's going to be riding along with his wife in a horse-drawn carriage down the Mall, surrounded by the Royal Horse Guard as they take him down to Buckingham Palace, where he's going to meet the Queen for a lunch before attending Parliament, and then back for a royal banquet where he will meet 3 generations of the royal family. There's going to be ceremonial gun salutes. There's going to be so much ceremony involved in this visit. And it's really going to stand in stark contrast to his recent trip to the United States, which was very businesslike, quite dry, certainly a bit of caution in the air and a big focus there on cyber security and other trade issues. That's not going to be the case here in the UK. Yes, there will be some talk of trade concerns, but mostly what we're going to see here is Britain and China really trying to bring this already extraordinarily close relationship even closer together. But it's really going to be marked by this colour and ceremony, perhaps the most extraordinary visit by a Chinese head of state that Britain has ever seen.
Jack, we're just seconds away, probably within the next 20 seconds. We expect the president and his wife, Madam Peng Liyuan, to emerge from the jet. The camera's already very much at work as we keep seeing the strobe lights there from the still photographers taking the pictures in anticipation of his emergence. And here he comes. There's President Xi Jinping now making his way out. Undoubtedly will wave to the assembled crowd below. There he goes. Madam Peng Liyuan joining him there. And they will make their way down. Can you tell us a little bit about the delegation that will greet him there at the airport? Will this be significant folks from the government, perhaps?
It is. It's a government delegation, but really it's not going to be until tomorrow that he really meets the big officials. They're trying to keep tonight as low-key as possible because this is not the official welcoming. That's going to happen tomorrow. That's going to involve Prince Charles and his wife, the Duchess of Cornwall. They're going to be meeting with President Xi in the morning. So tonight he is arriving. He's been met by government officials, also some of the heads of the delegations here. He is expected to move very quickly in a convoy through to Buckingham Palace, where he will be staying tonight. But again, it's not the official welcome. So even though he'll be staying at Buckingham Palace tonight, what we're going to see on Tuesday is him then being escorted to the Royal Horse Guard parade ground, where he will enter that coach, head back to Buckingham Palace, and that will be the official welcoming. So tonight is going to be a very quick affair, handshakes into the vehicles and then on to Buckingham Palace.
As you speak, that's exactly what just happened. He just went towards the vehicles. He'll be off, get a good night's rest. Talk to me about the goals. Both countries probably coming at this with similar goals, enhancing the bilateral ties, which have really grown remarkably in recent years, haven't they?
No, they have. They've strengthened really the bond between China and Britain is the strongest of China and any of the European countries, certainly stronger than the bond between with the United States, even though that has been growing immensely over the past few years as well. There's a lot of talk about trade. They're talking about the golden decade ahead. They want to boost the trade relationship. Britain would like to be number 2 after the United States, not number 6, where it currently is. But if we really look at what they're talking about here, a potential investment in the first nuclear power station in Britain in the last 3 decades to come online, an investment in the high-speed rail, a potential tie-in between British Petroleum, BP, and China National Petroleum Corporation that could see them operating in countries like Iraq and potentially BP in China. It's all about investment. So even though there's a lot of talk about trade, when we break it down, most of the deals that we're looking at here are going to be investment. And it seems that officials, the government officials, private businesses, they're really looking at the investment potential as the biggest source of untapped growth, both for Britain and China.
Jack, we also know that the UK, very popular destination for Chinese tourists. How will the president's visit impact the tourism industry, do you believe?
Well, that's right. It's very interesting because we've seen this tourism boom from China over the past 10 years with the growth of the middle class, people becoming much more affluent, going out, spending that money. In many countries, China now the #1 source of tourism. Now, here in Britain last year, London was voted the most popular tourist destination in the world. But there's still a bit of a disconnect because the number of Chinese tourists coming here is still actually quite low compared to many other European countries. There's a number of reasons for that, including visa problems. The British government is really trying to fix that at the moment. They've become very aware of it. They want far more tourists here, and they're hoping that this visit by Xi Jinping is really going to put Britain in China's spotlight.